Happy New Year 2026. We have Zach Smith, Pilot Tax, on the podcast today, recording on a Saturday because of all the changes that Southwest made with their new NEC option. And there wasn't a lot of training in advance. And boom, on Friday, they sent out an email with some frequently asked questions, or at least, finally giving some guidance on it. And all that happened to me was about 80 pilots, 80 Southwest pilots, all at once texting me, reaching out to me on Friday. So I thought it'd be appropriate for us to get a podcast together, get something out there to help our Southwest pilot clients. And of those that aren't, clients, hopefully you get something out of this. And if you're not a client, maybe you should figure out why you're not a client. Maybe you should be a client. So anyway, Zach, thank you for going into the office so we could just talk about a few of these things. We really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you get any phone calls on Friday?
There was a few and all last week. So this is going to be beneficial for a lot of folks.
Okay. Well, it's early on. It's a little bit complicated. We're going to talk about some of the things. And I think the biggest thing is going to be just understanding how it works, how to make those changes on the Schwab website. But big picture, some of the programming because of the Secure Act 2.0 is going to change how it works for the Southwest pilots. But the big picture thing that it really gives the option, which I personally love, is all these company contributions. Now you have the option to get them in your 401k plan as Roth money. I know pilots like instant gratification, but I think paying a little tax on a little bit now and letting it grow tax-free for the rest of your life is an amazing thing. How do you view it?
I completely agree. And this is completely new. We haven't seen this anywhere else yet where we have the option to have these company contributions roll in. Previously your contributions maxed at 30,000 with a catch up was all we could get in the Roth, other than some of the other strategies that Ryan utilizes. But this allows almost all the money flowing into the 401k plan to be completely Roth, all post-tax, tax-free growth, all the benefits we like.
Well, I think it's going to be an amazing thing if you choose to take advantage of it. You can opt in, opt out each month. Each month you can switch back and forth. I don't know why you do that, but it is an option. I think the big gotcha with this is two things. Number one, they don't have it set up where it's going to withhold for taxes on that if you select that Roth option. So you need to get with your CPA and come up with a plan in advance, or else you're going to get a nice big surprise on paying income tax on all those contributions that the company makes. Zach, how do you see that? How do you get ahead of that? How do you plan for that?
Yeah, so I want to kind of run down this, guys. So anytime you receive a benefit from the company, generally it's going to have to be taxed. So our understanding with the way that this is going to work, previously under pre-tax contributions from the company took a deduction when they gave you the money, but that money was going to have to be taxed at some point, right? When you withdraw the money. What's going to happen with these Roth is that the company still gets a deduction for employee benefits, but now this is going into a Roth account where it's never going to be taxed again for the employee. So that's a benefit to the employees. So the way that this is going to work is our understanding is this is going to be another imputed income item for the pilots. So the money that goes into your 401k will be treated as income to you, just like your life insurance they pay for, just like your imputed travel. But as Ryan said, they are not going to be withholding tax on this. Okay, so we could be talking about anywhere between $30,000 to $40,000 of additional income that we have no withholding on. Okay, so we need a plan for that. Right. Ryan and I had discussed a couple strategies, right? One is maybe getting our pilots that choose to opt into this, which again, Ryan and I love this plan. Those that opt in, let's look at withholding a little bit of extra out of your paycheck each month, right? Let's adjust the W-4. Option B is we just need to prepare for a tax bill, right? Come tax time, which I have no problem with most of my clients. We just need to have that money set aside and we need to be ready.
Yeah. And if you're doing all the right stuff and you're paying yourself first, hopefully you have an individual account or join a taxable account that is out there and growing. You let it grow all year long. And then when the tax bill comes around, well, Uncle Sam wants his cut. And that's just the way it is. A couple other things that are changing. I'm going to share my screen just so we can look at some of these buttons together. I have a couple screenshots because it is not intuitive like you think it would be. You can see here under employer contributions, that is the button that's going to switch it to Roth if you wanted to actually do this. They put in ER safe harbor, non-elective, which I think makes it really confusing for the average pilot. But Southwest likes to make things confusing. They like to have it all over the place, not all at Schwab. I mean, you got, Empower, Fidelity. I mean, they got stuff all over the place. It's crazy. Anyway, so that's the button that you're going to push. The other thing to keep in mind is with the catch-up deferrals. If you make over $150,000 a year now, that is going to be nothing but Roth. Okay, you don't have the option anymore. Catch-up is going to be Roth. And also, you're not going to get any of your catch-up unless you actually make your own contributions. A lot of pilots that don't make those contributions, your catch-up will never turn on until you max out the 24/5 on the front end. Of course, if it was me, and my advice would be that you make Roth contributions, you hit that 24/5, catch-up deferral starts going in there. And, if you want to max that out, and then, of course, the company contributions as well. I'm sorry, but I think that getting that much Roth money in your 401k every single year is just massive. And I want to bring this up. I want to see if Zach has this same experience, but I'm amazed at how surprised pilots are in the distribution phase because they don't understand it. And they start taking money out of their 401k and it's all tax deferred. And then they realize how much tax they have to pay in retirement when they no longer have a job. Then they don't have a way to pay the tax bill. And now they need to take more money out of their 401k. And it always seems to be a big surprise. Do you get that?
We do. And I think this problem is going to exacerbate over the next few years with the contracts that the airlines have now. The distribution phase has always been a problem. It is going to be a bigger problem as many of our clients start to age into retirement in the next 5, 10, 25 years. With the amount of money that's going into these 401ks now with these new contracts, it's going to be a big shock, right? It's going to be a big shock. And this is what you and I try to help folks avoid. And this Roth tool that we have here that Southwest is offering is going to make a massive difference.
Yeah, and I'm jealous. I mean, obviously you could do a Roth conversion, anytime you want, but I could see the other airlines adopting this as time goes on. The airlines, airline pilots are making plenty of money right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that just biting the bullet while you have income, paying the government to go away slowly over time is a much better strategy. And then you get that growth and that compounding growth later, big chunks. But guess what? You don't know Uncle Sam anything. I think this is definitely something to take advantage. If you're one of my clients and you want help setting this up or you want to talk about it, obviously reach out to me. For all those Southwest pilots that are listening that aren't clients, well, you might want to check out and see what we've been doing.
And I want to add to that, Ryan. We work with a lot of pilots from all different airlines. And as a result, I do work with lots and lots of financial advisors across the country. Probably work with Ryan more so than most. And I will say there's a handful that I feel like understand and very few that really have their hands around it. And Ryan is 100% at the top of this list. I like working with Ryan. I like when my clients choose to go with Ryan. His investment returns speak volume. And not only that, when Ryan and I are talking strategy, as been demonstrated by the podcast here, we're not having to re-educate each other on this stuff. We're on the same page. Ryan's got his hand around this stuff. So if you haven't chatted with Ryan, I think it's worth a conversation.
I appreciate the shout out, Zach. I didn't know that was going to be a part of it, but I honestly don't understand why pilots don't take advantage. I mean, you get the free toolkit and just check out what you've done versus what we've done over the past 10 years and just look at the numbers. I mean, the numbers don't lie. I call it the IQ test. I say some people pass, some don't. But looking at the net of fee numbers, if you're worried about paying a fee, well, guess what? We look at the returns after fees. So that's all that matters. Right. I appreciate the shout out, Zach, like I said, but I don't know why you wouldn't check it out. Any other we're going to attach all the frequently asked questions for this to the podcast. So if you didn't see that email, it should be attached. If you have other questions, you could reach out. Do you think there's any other gotchas that we haven't brought up or talked about?
I don't think so. I think the good wrap up big picture here is number one, this gives us a great tool to try to avoid that tax in retirement. Right. It helps that distribution phase tremendously. Number two, and we could talk all day about the benefits of the Roth. This also puts pilots in a great position for wealth transition to their kids.
Legacy
okay, this is something we've touched on before. So these, believe it or not, nobody wants to think about dying. these large 401ks can create a tremendous tax problem for your beneficiaries. Okay. And this is something that helps to mitigate it. So, your question, Ryan, is there a gotcha? The gotcha is, look, guys, we're going to have to pay tax on this, right? We're going to have to pay tax on the front end. And by front end, I mean the year in which we opt into this plan. I think it's a good move from the tax side. I don't have a problem paying tax today to save money in the long term. I've told a lot of our clients, look, I'm in the tax acceleration strategy, right? Tax avoidance through tax acceleration. So this is just another one of those vehicles. And I'm thrilled that you guys at Southwest have this.
I agree. And I did think of another gotcha that we didn't bring up is if you've never contributed to Roth before, you're actually going to have to go into your change investments tab and actually tell them how to invest that Roth money. So if you haven't done that, you need to do that, or else it's just going to automatically get dumped in to a target date fund, which don't even let me start talking about that. If you want to see a difference in more efficiently investing your money, if you actually have your money in a target date fund right now, you should definitely reach out to me right away. But yeah, just make sure if you haven't done any Roth contributions, you need to go and tell them under it's a change investment, and then you got to go under your future investments and set something up. Zach, it's a Saturday. I pulled you away from your family. Thanks for going into the office so we can knock this out. There's a lot of football to watch, and you need to get back to your family. So thank you for coming in, and Happy New Year to everyone.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Take care.
Information is for illustrative purposes only and does not constitute tax, investment, or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal, or tax professional before taking any action.